morning, everyone. You're watching Barnstable This Morning. I'm Sarah Colvin, and joining me live in studio, Town Manager Tom Lynch. Tom, good morning.
Good morning. How are you doing today, Sarah?
I'm well, thank you. How are you, Tom?
Great weekend.
Great
Lots
weekend.
of activity.
Little mixed bag in terms of weather, but
Yeah, disappointing that the car show got rained out, but understandable, and a lot of people look forward to that. So, but
indeed, I will say Main Street was still very busy on Sunday.
very busy.
So it did not keep people away,
did
at least
not.
in the
It did
afternoon.
not,
So it's been a busy week and more busy times to come. Of course, Town Council wrapped up the budget last week on a rather lengthy meeting.
Yeah, I know you covered that already in your news, but I wanted to certainly thank the town council for all of their thoughtful deliberation on the budget. We were able to get through the operating budget in 2 nights, which was just as we had planned. And I also want to thank our staff publicly. We're actually starting the budget. We barely have closed the book on this year, and we're looking toward FY 17 now.
17, wow.
But it's because we'll start that during the summer months. But so it's a year-long process, and staff does a lot of work preparing for it and then making the presentations, and they put a lot of time into it. And I think it showed through the response that the council had, not only to the budget, but with the questions that they offered. So it's always a learning process for us. We can gauge from the questions where some of the areas are that the council would like to see greater emphasis, and we'll work on that over the course of the development of the next budget. So I certainly thank all of our staff for all they did to help make this budget a success.
Absolutely, absolutely. And housing, I know you wanted to talk a little bit about that. It's a big issue always. It's something that's been a constant here on the Cape for some time.
I mentioned last week that I would be going to the Housing Committee meeting and sat with them. Another example of a committee that works very hard on a very difficult and complex issue, and just like our planning board and our ZBA and recreation, all the various boards and commissions we have, housing is out there trying to promote additional housing for all levels and all strata of our community. So I talked about their role as advocates and ways that I thought they could assist with our Community Preservation Committee and the housing component that they have. Suggested going out to other communities and finding out what best practices might be going on in those communities and working with them. And really we spent a good deal of time just talking about the capacity to produce housing. Who's doing it out there? Who's doing it on the high end, the middle, and the low end? And because certainly those agencies that do try to produce affordable housing, that it's a long road. It's a difficult road. You need a certain set of skills. So we talked about ways that perhaps, again, we could work with the Barnstable Housing Authority, the Housing Assistance Corporation, the county housing component, and the Cape Cod Commission. All those agencies that have a piece of this difficult problem to try to produce housing that's needed here in Barnstable and on the Cape. So, and of course, we also then mentioned that on Tuesday night at 6 o'clock, there's going to be the dedication of the Sesame Street Habitat housing units. They've been working on those. I've been out there to a couple. They've had the side raising, the wall raising, which is really well done, and they also had a secondary gathering when they talked about the solar panels that they put on the roofing over there. So this will kind of wrap that up, and it's always they're rather heartwarming events, because you've got a family that just would probably not have been able to get into this housing market, but with the model that Habitat uses of being able to build the house and the families work with them building it, and a lot of donations that they put together, they're able to then put together a fairly low mortgage that enables someone to live in their own property. And so these are 2 single-family homes on a rather very spacious lot, and I'm looking forward to that event. So.
And always nice that the family helps to construct the house. I think that adds value once you get in it, knowing that you put your own sweat equity into it, and it kind of makes it all the more special.
And when you go and you see the list of folks that are thanked for this, churches that come together, banks, and so many contractors around. folks who donate appliances. It's really a wonderful community effort that's put together. So.
Absolutely. And so community cabinet meeting, we're going to have it's a busy week. Again, so many different events, so many important people from the government coming here to Cape Cod.
Well, Governor Baker has assigned the Lieutenant Governor to be, I believe, his outreach person and Karen Polito, who's the Lieutenant Governor, will be coming down to the Cape to take the, to have a series of meetings where we can go and talk to them about things that we think are happening, at the local level. So they're calling the community cabinet meeting as one from 10 to 11:30 in Sandwich at their town hall. The Mid-Cape one is scheduled for 1 to 2:30 over at the DY Regional High School in their auditorium. So, I want to be able to go and first, it's a chance to meet cabinet members that you won't get to see on a everyday basis. We don't go over that bridge quite as often as we're used to, but get a chance to hear what some of their goals and objectives are, the programs they may be offering, and those contacts pay off. I mean, we had the dedication for the Veterans Park Beach Playground, and that was because we were very involved with cabinet members in the last administration. They told us about a grant that was available, applied for that, got that. So those are types of things that you can pick up on and in a meeting like this. I want to be able to thank them for the emphasis they've put on local aid. While Barnstable doesn't use quite as much local aid as many of your other cities and towns, by making that a priority, I think they stabilize a lot of the services delivered by local governments, and we certainly do profit by that. They came through with $302,000 for us on a special appropriation for road repairs after the winter storms, and I think if anyone who saw Dan Santos, Director of Public Works presentation, he showed examples of where we had used all of that money to take care of pothole repairs and also rather large sections of the road that had either through frost heaves or potholes become really difficult to travel on. So we made some additional repairs that we wouldn't have been able to do. So I want to thank them for that, and also point out ways that I think they might be able to assist local government. So we'll offer a few of those, and I'm sure there'll be many that want to have a chance to at least say hello to the cabinet and see what they have to offer.
Absolutely. And is that something the public is invited to attend as well?
Yes, I believe
Wonderful.
they are.
Excellent.
And, we were notified by Representative Whalen, who represents the precinct on the north side, so we'll be responding to his invitation to go.
Wonderful. And 4th of July coming up next week, is that true?
Not only it's before
How is that possible?
And I've got a meeting on my calendar for the POP steering committee to do an event in August. So we're planning out our summer events. But I want to announce that 4th of July parade marshals here in Hyannis are going to be Joe and Dolores DeLuce, longtime residents of Hyannis, longtime civil rights activists, housing activists. Joe worked for the town as our building inspector for many, many years, and they've just contributed in so many ways to our community. We thought they would be fitting honorees for the parade marshals this year.
Wonderful. So much looking forward to that parade. And I think we got the rain on Father's Day car show, right? So we're going to have perfect skies for the 4th of July.
And I just want to mention that, because I heard it from business leaders all across the Cape, really, the success of the Theater on Ice program that the Yarmouth Ice folks put together. And there were just people everywhere. I heard of restaurants that had a party of 72 come in and took up the whole back room, and others that were, as an event on Friday night with quite a few business leaders, and they said, oh, well, we were contacted for 40 breakfasts that they wanted to deliver. So, and all our hotels and were booked throughout the Mid-Cape and all around. It was a wonderful presentation. Went over, there's a very nice article in the sports section of the Cape Cod Times that he talked about all the winners, and I understand the Yarmouth Ice Club took a bronze in their category.
Well, look at that. That's
that was
excellent.
Just great. So,
loved seeing all those car flags flying. It was kind of like
Yeah.
when the lobster pot is here, and It's just great to see that infusion of new people into our community, and maybe Cape Cod won a few more
And
regular
so many young
visitors.
people, and people from Texas and all California, all over across the country coming to Cape Cod. It was wonderful.
Excellent. Well, Tom, I thank you so much as always for joining us here in studio. We appreciate it, and we'll catch up with you again next week.
Yeah, and I understand you're going to welcome Bill Butler, the
Yes.
interim school superintendent. Well,
Live in studio. That's
live
right.
in studio. A good
Next
man,
up,
a good man.
exactly. So that's right, our interim superintendent next up. First, we're going to check in on that fishing report. We'll be back with more Barnstable This